How's it going, NPC Nation? Welcome back to a brand new video. This video I'm going to be talking about the Tiger King. Oh my gosh, my hair is a mess. But never mind all of that. So this video is going to be called, Is the Tiger King the Best Documentary on Netflix? So this year, a new Netflix documentary got released. It is called The Tiger King. Mayhem and all that other stuff. It's just called, basically if you search up Tiger King, you're going to get it. So it's a brand new documentary that Netflix recorded over 5 years. I didn't know it was recorded over 5 years. 5 years of recording Joey Exotic's feud with Carol Baskins. Carol Baskins! It's actually a good documentary. I binge watched the whole entire thing. It's only 7 episodes, limited series. I get why, because he was arrested in 2018. It's actually interesting. It's funny because his personality. Joey Exotic's personality, he's a gay gunslinger, whatever thing. That's what he describes himself as. He's actually pretty funny, but it gets deep. It really doesn't focus on the tigers, like the caging of big cats. Like, it focuses on their rivalry. She's like, oh, don't breed cats, but cats are endangered, so why won't you breed them to make more? Like, I don't get that. That's one thing I didn't get in the documentary. They talked about how she didn't like the cats being bred and cats being in cages, but she has a cat park and her cats are in cages, and she don't like that people petting cubs and stuff, and that's a bad thing for them. But she keeps her cats in cages and doesn't let no one interact with them. But she's all about rescuing cats and keeping them free. If you're about rescuing cats and keeping them free, don't keep them in tiny cages. I saw a documentary. Those cages were small. For a lady that supposedly might have, her husband, those, and to protect the cats, tigers, big cats and stuff, her cages, Carol, are very small. Carol Baskin's cages are very small for tigers and stuff and big cats. And why are you keeping them in cages then? And what Joey did was he let people pet tigers and get up and close with them. It's such a good documentary because it follows a rivalry for 5 years. For over a decade, they had this rivalry. Recorded this documentary for 5 years. Follows this guy's life, his rivalry, how his friends betray on him, how he brings in this self-made millionaire named Jeff Lowe, who isn't a self-made millionaire, who's just a con man and gets Joey thrown in jail, in prison. And he's in jail for 22 years for breaking the the Endangered Animals Act. It's like, if they're endangered, yeah, a lot of people will put down their tigers. But in the video, in the documentary, they showed animal abuse from Jeff Lowe. He's supposed to be the zoo owner, but he's going around free. I don't think this is over. I don't think this investigation is over. It just started. I think the FBI is going to investigate all of them. Carol Baskins. The reason they got Joey Exotic because his friends decided to turn him in. Friends, but I think Joe Exotic is an interesting character. I did not know nothing about him. I didn't know he was famous before then. I didn't know he had a famous park until I didn't even know he went on he didn't really go on John Oliver. I didn't know John Oliver talked about him. But in 2016, he ran for president. And he tried to run for governor of Oklahoma. And he got third in the primaries. So that's something. This dude has gotten more famous and and he's killing it. And he's in jail. He is making, he didn't make any money on it. He didn't get to watch it because he's in jail. But Doc Antel's in it, and all these people, and Tim's in it. What's his name? Forgot his name. Tim Stark. Tim Stark's in it. A lot of people I've heard of. I've heard of Tim Stark. I've heard of his, nature thing. I've heard of Doc Antel. A lot of people have heard of Doc Antel. But Carol Baskins, it's you're animals activists, but you take animals and put them in cages. That's weird. And her husband goes missing. Their relationship's falling apart. He wants to go to Costa Rica. She don't want him to go. He's thinking about getting a divorce. his will says in case of my disappearance. And she changes the attorney on the will. That's something. That is something that I think she did, off her husband. But it's actually an interesting documentary. I'm not telling you guys to go watch it. I'm not telling the NPC Nation. I'm not telling you guys to go watch it. I'm telling you guys it's actually interesting. I'm making a video on it not because it's popular, because I want to just give my opinion on it, really. I binge watched all 7 episodes, because it was so good. It's not following the. You thought it's gonna be about, we should we should keep tigers in cages and breed them, but they're endangered. If they're endangered, you should breed them. Technically, you should breed them with other tigers. You should not. Well, crossbreeding, purebreds. It's been fact that purebred animals don't last as long as mutts, really. So I think it's interesting. It really doesn't talk about the tigers as much. It talks about what it's meant to be talking about, the rivalry between Joe Exotic and Carol Baskins, which I think they're both really bad people, but I think Carol was worse because how she acted in that whole entire documentary. I think she was awful in that documentary. I don't think she's a good person. I think she did off her husband. I think a lot of things she did. Harold was just going with her, just running around with the show. I don't know. I've never really heard of those people, but it's interesting. 7 episodes long, interesting story from a guy that I'd never heard of. He was famous, I guess, before that, and then he became more famous in documentary, but he can't even enjoy it because he's 22 years in jail. And he, as a gunslinger, he owns guns, but he also has a husband, which is actually an interesting character. He's just an interesting character in all. Rivalry's really interesting because she's like, they're endangered, they shouldn't be in cages, but I have tigers in cages, and you shouldn't breed them, but tigers are endangered, so you should breed them. I don't know. That's not really my opinion. It's interesting. It's an interesting rivalry. It's interesting to watch. I would give it a watch if I was you guys. But if you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, press the share button, press the like button, press the red shiny subscribe button, press the bell so every time I upload a video. Sorry I haven't uploaded that much. I'm going to try to get back into streaming more Assassin's Creed and doing other stuff and uploading more. I've just been really distracted. But if you guys enjoyed this video, see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.